Hi everybody, it's me, Corrie T, and I'm going to tell you a story today, which is a story that comes up a lot in conversations that I have with people about transforming relationships or creating a new version of a person in a relationship. So I'm going to tell you a story about me and my dad, right? So the story is this. My mum and dad broke up when I was very young. I was about 4 or 5. And obviously that then created some beliefs within me. It was no one's fault, but as a child, that's what happens. We create beliefs about, why the world is the way it is. And as a child, I must have created some beliefs like I'm not good enough, relationships don't work, it was my fault, all these sorts of things. Maybe, who knows? There are things that I've explored that maybe have created some of the, undesirable things that have happened in my life before. So I worked through all of that, but in the process of doing that, me and my dad had a lot of conflict. There was a lot of arguments and tension. There was a time when it was just incredibly toxic. It felt like his care for me and his want for me to, have a good life just got too much. And he was, quite controlling. He would tell me his opinions in a very kind of I'm right and you're wrong way. And he didn't mean any harm. It's just that he so desperately wanted me to understand that the things that he was saying were for my own good, but he would say it in a way that didn't suit me. And it wasn't right for me to hear it in that way. And I was feeling very defensive. I was feeling very, controlled. I was feeling very misunderstood. I was feeling like I was screaming to just be loved and just wanted to just be loved particularly by him. I wanted his validation. I wanted his support, but it just felt like it just wasn't happening. And there was just so many fights. There was so many tears. There was so much like drama between us, and it would just create all this tension within the family. And we'd have like screaming matches and stuff. And it would always really, really hurt me because I never wanted to argue. I never wanted to fight. I never wanted us to have anything more than just a really good time together. I never wanted any of it. And I'd say to him, like, I don't want to argue with you. I just don't. Why are we doing this? And he didn't want to argue either. It's just that we just didn't understand each other. And I was always the one to be like, sometimes I'd ring him back and I'd be like, can we just sort this out? I just really want to sort this out. And I would feel so uncomfortable for me to leave a conversation with us having had a horrible debate or another fight or saying horrible things together. And there was one argument that we had where I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to ring him back. I'm not going to ring him and say sorry. And I'm not going to apologise for anything that I've said. I'm not going to try and get his approval or his validation. I'm not going to try and explain why I've chosen to do whatever it was I was doing or why I chose to say what I wanted to say. I'm not going to explain anything. I'm just going to decide, okay then, well, if you're going to talk to me like that, or if we're going to have this kind of toxic relationship, then I can't have it in my life. I can't have it. And that was such an incredibly hard decision because all I wanted to do was get on with my dad. So when he hung up on me that day, and when that happened, I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to ring him back. And it was the first time in my life that happened. And so I was really scared, and I was thinking, oh my God, like, is he going to ring me back? Is that it? If I don't ring him back, is that it? Is he just not going to ring me back? I was really scared that was going to be the case. I was really scared, and it got to the point where I was like ringing other people in the family and asking, have you heard from my dad? Have you heard from my dad? And a day went by, didn't ring me back. A week went by, didn't ring me back. A month went by, and he didn't ring me back. And I thought, oh my God, what's happening? And in this process, I didn't actually let go. I didn't think, all right, I don't need you, and like, bye then. I was really sad about it, and I was really hoping that he would ring me back. But what I did stay strong in was like, if you want to talk to me and if you want to be in my life, then you have to talk to me in a certain way that is correct for me, feels good for me, is respectful to me, is, appreciative of who I am as a person, as an adult, as a human, right? And I just decided that even though I absolutely adored my dad and wanted nothing more than a really, really good relationship where we love and respect each other, he couldn't be in my life if it wasn't going to be like that. So I decided he it just has to end. This arguments, this toxicity, this drama, it just has to end. And so yeah, that month was really difficult, and I was really scared that was it. But I also knew that I had to do something self-loving, which was to just look after myself and my environment and the way that I was experiencing our relationship. And so I did know on one hand that I'd done the right thing, and I refused to be the one to ring him back. And eventually he rang me back. It was about 5 or 6 weeks later, he rang me back out of the blue. And I went, hello. And he was like, hello. And then we both laughed. And then he was like, I think we should stop this standoff now, don't you? And I said, yeah, I think so. And he said, I'm so sorry. I should never have talked to you like that. If my parents talked to me like that, I really wouldn't like it. And so from now on, I'm going to just let you make your own decisions. I'm here for you no matter what. If you ever want my advice, I'll always be here for you. I love you, and I will always love you. And God, it makes me quite emotional now. But that was the truth of it. And it was because I decided, no, this is how it's going to be. This is how it has to be in my reality. And it can't be any other way, even though it was terrifying to do that, right? It was so scary. But now our relationship is just a 180 on what it was. Is just completely different. It's like we have really good conversations. I can go to him without worrying that he's going to try and, control me or tell me what to do. And he respects my decisions. He doesn't try and tell me that I shouldn't do this or whatever. Our relationship has transformed. It's like he's a different person. And I got into that state by just being like, no, I know who I am, and this is what I want. And the thing is that Dad never meant any harm. It's just that he also had growing and learning to do as well. And I had to be the one to change it. And sometimes that's how it is. We have to make a bold move to change our world. And this comes into relationships when you're trying to create a new version of someone or whatever. Sometimes it's really difficult to ignore the 3D or to, just live in the end. Whenever you're seeing this reflection of an old story that you don't want anymore, just all the time, it can be really, really difficult. And some manifestational coaches will say, just stay in the wish fulfilled and ignore the 3D. And that's one way of doing it. It's true. And you, no matter where you go, you take yourself, don't you? You take yourself with you. So you've got to do the work, whether you're with them or not. But sometimes it can be, and it's up to you, whatever feels right to you. But in my situation, in that case, it was easier for me to walk away. And that was like a fierce self-love. That was like a bold move that said, no. It was like, no, this is my boundary. This is my reality. This is who I am. Now, if you cross it, you can't come here. So if you don't respect this boundary, then you can't. And even now, we have amazing conversations and we never argue anymore. But if there's even a hint of the old story, I'll go, right, I've got to go now. And I will just end the conversation in a loving way that is like, I'm not going to have that in my reality. And I don't need to tell him. I don't need to say, you will talk to me like this. I don't need to do anything. I never once said that to him. Never needed to say, I need you to talk to me with love and respect. I never needed to do that or say it. It was just obvious in my new behaviour and my new reality. So I just wanted to tell you that story because in case it inspires you, and obviously you've got to do what feels right for you. But in that case, that worked. That really, really massively transformed our relationship. And he'll tell you now that it was a big transformation in our relationship, and we have a lot of respect and love for each other. We always have done, but it's just clearly that now, and nothing confusing, nothing controlling or toxic about it. And that for me was proof that relationships can absolutely turn around and just become, who you are. They can be a reflection of who you truly are, which is loved and respected and honoured and treated, as you should be treated, So you can do this, and I just thought I needed to tell you that story. There's not one right way or wrong way of doing this. It's just that story is just an example of how having some really strong self-love can turn things around. And it's really just about setting boundaries and sticking to them, and just being like the warrior, the princess warrior in the movie, being like, no, this is who I am now. And you actually don't even need to say that at all. You don't need to do that. It's just a decision that you make in your mind. And when you've made that decision, your behaviours will reflect it naturally, and it'll feel like a big shift. And it was a big shift for me. And at the time, like I say, it was very difficult and wobbly, and I didn't know if it was working or if I'd done the right thing. And like, you know, I was speaking to some clients today who were saying that they've done this with their specific person, when they go, right, enough's enough. You're not going to talk to me like that anymore. You're not going to treat me like that. And that's it. And you walk away, and then you think, oh God, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? If you're walking away from something but to protect yourself, you know, from being hurt, in my opinion, yeah, you've done the right thing. But in that case, then obviously you're still you, and you still have to work on those beliefs about who you are, about how you're treated. You still have to work on that self-concept stuff that makes it real. Because when you stick there and you stay there and you're like, no, this is who I am now, and you remind yourself of that every day, that's when the real change happens. You can't just do something like, right, be like, no, bye, you can't talk to me like that, and actually not mean it, because that gets you a completely opposite result, because everybody can feel that. But when you know it within yourself, that's when it really changes. So that was the story for today. I hope it was helpful, and yeah, I'll speak to you in the next video. And if you're interested in doing any coaching with me, the email is in the link below, and I'll give you all the information. Okay, have a good day. Bye.